Dr. Sheila Edwards-Lang is starting her fourth academic year as president of Seattle Central College, surrounded by what sounds like great news.
Seattle is booming right now.
But Edwards-Lang says there's a problem. Her research shows only 3 out of 10 Seattle students are earning a post-secondary credential. That means those big companies fueling our economy are looking outside of Seattle when they're hiring top talent.
And so we are not really investing in our own children to be competitive for these jobs that we have here in Seattle.
That's a big reason why Edwards-Lang supports the new Families, Education, Preschool and Promise Levy, or FEP, Proposition 1 on your Seattle ballot this fall. At $638 million, it's the largest education levy ever for the city since it started making school investments back in 1990. Here's the breakdown. FEP combines the expiring Families and Education Levy, which supports K-12 students, with the expiring Seattle Preschool Levy for 3- and 4-year-olds. FEP adds in the Seattle Promise program to give 2 years of free community college tuition to any graduate of Seattle's public schools. The city says, in total, the 7-year property tax measure would end up costing the owner of a median-priced home just over $9 more per month.
We cannot afford to not invest in our kids right now because it's going to cost us more in the long term if we do not invest in our kids.
Seattle voters have been very generous, but they are feeling the pinch.
Sue Peters, former Seattle School Board president, says the FEP levy puts the city in competition with the school district, which is trying to pass its own levies for new school facilities and operation costs in February of next year.
The size and the scope and the timing of the city's levy really does put the school district's levies at risk.
Peters says it's also not clear if FEP money would go towards Seattle's charter schools, approved statewide despite strong opposition from Seattle voters. Plus, Peters, who wrote to former Mayor Murray with concerns about rising costs with the preschool program, says having the majority of FEP dollars going towards preschool after just a 4-year pilot is not the right investment.
And so by bundling it in with the bigger levy, it's effectively locking voters in for 7 years to an initiative that's kind of expensive and hasn't been fully proven.
But supporters point to a new report, paid for by the city, that shows the Seattle preschool program is keeping pace with others around the country. And U.S. Department of Education research says kids in high-quality preschool are less likely to repeat a grade or drop out.
If we don't get our kids off to a good start with access to quality daycare and quality preschool, then they're behind from the beginning.
Supporters of Prop 1 also say the city's K-12 investments over the past 2 decades plus have shown positive results.
You think about the schools where we have made targeted investment, not only are they outperforming schools in the state, kids of color, low-income kids are outperforming others in the state.
But opponents point out not all of the levy's K-12 investments are meeting their targets, which makes the city's push to fund preschool and college programs all the more concerning.
I support anything we can do to get more kids engaged in college and take the next step, as long as it's not at the expense of providing what our kids need in K-12.
Further complicating the K-12 picture is a new state education funding system via the McCleary decision that the Seattle School District says still doesn't resolve local budget issues.
The numbers to the right of the decimal.
It adds up to a high-stakes battle over education funding in our city, with 2 sides both asking you to do your homework on the FEP levy.
It's a sad day for Seattle's kids and families if it doesn't pass.
There's a very real risk of levy fatigue.